Hello friends. My name is Amelia. I'm 21 years old. I live in a quiet little town where everyone knows each other's name. Nothing ever really changes here. Same streets, same shops, same people. But there's something in my town that no one talks about loudly. Something hidden at the edge of the woods. Something that has lived longer than all of us. We call it the wish tree. They say it's been standing there for centuries. Old and silent. Watching. Listening. And most of all, granting wishes. Of course, to a child. That sounded like a fairy tale. I remember being 6 years old when I first heard about it. My grandmother told me the story. She said, "Amelia, there's a tree deep in the forest that listens when your heart whispers. If you tie a ribbon on its branches and close your eyes, it will hear your wish. But remember, child, every wish has a price." I laughed back then. What kind of price could a tree ask for? As I grew older, I kept hearing stories. A poor farmer wished for rain, and his crops bloomed the very next week. A woman who couldn't have children tied a ribbon, and a year later she held a baby in her arms. But then there were darker stories too. A boy who wished for wealth ended up losing his father. A girl who asked for beauty never smiled again after her wish came true. It was as if the tree granted your desire, but twisted it in ways you could never predict. The adults in town would always lower their voices when talking about it. Some called it sacred. Others cursed it. But no one denied its power. When I turned 18, my life was already tangled in dreams and regrets. I had lost my mother when I was 14. My father raised me the best he could, but the emptiness never left me. I wanted so badly to talk to her again, to feel her hand on my hair, to hear her voice. I tried to ignore the stories of the wish tree, but they kept haunting me. What if it was true? What if I could have one chance? Just one moment with her again. I couldn't get the thought out of my head. One summer evening, I finally decided to go. The sky was dim with the last light of the sun as I walked past the edge of town toward the woods. The air grew cooler the deeper I went. My heart pounded harder with every step. Birds grew silent. The path became narrower. And then in the clearing, I saw it. The wish tree. Its trunk was enormous, old, gnarled with lines that looked like scars. Its branches stretched high and wide, heavy with ribbons tied by so many hands. Some ribbons were faded and torn. Others looked fresh, as if tied only yesterday. The whole tree seemed alive, breathing, waiting. I felt its eyes on me though it had none. My legs trembled as I walked closer. I pulled a ribbon from my pocket, one I had secretly kept from my mother's old dress. The fabric still smelled faintly of her. My fingers shook as I tied it to the lowest branch. The ribbon fluttered gently like it was whispering back to me. I closed my eyes and whispered my wish. "Please, let me see her again just once." My words seemed to vanish into the stillness of the air. For a moment, nothing happened. Just silence. Just the sound of my heart. And then, I felt it. A strange warmth crawling through my chest, rising up to my face. The ground beneath me trembled slightly as if the roots of the tree stretched deeper. A soft wind blew around me, carrying a scent of lilacs, the very scent my mother used to wear. My eyes opened and I gasped. There she was, standing right in front of me. My mother. Her smile exactly as I remembered. Her eyes filled with the same kindness. She reached out, her hand warm, real. Tears flooded my eyes as I stumbled into her arms. I could feel her. I could smell her perfume. She whispered, "My little Amelia, I've missed you." My voice cracked. "Mama, is it really you?" She nodded softly, but her eyes carried a sadness that pierced me. She whispered, "The tree gave you this moment, but moments don't last forever." Fear struck me as I realized the price of my wish was yet to come. I held my mother tighter, afraid that if I let go she would vanish. Her warmth was real. Her voice was real. But somewhere deep inside me I knew this moment wasn't normal. It wasn't life as it should be. It was borrowed. It was fragile. My tears soaked her dress as I whispered, "Don't leave me again, Mama. Please don't." She gently touched my face and said, "Every wish has its time, Amelia, and every time has its price." Her words echoed inside my heart like thunder. Suddenly the air grew colder around us. The leaves of the wish tree rattled even though there was no wind. I turned my head slightly, and for a second I thought I saw shadows moving between the branches, watching us silently. My mother's grip tightened as if she felt them too. I asked her question after question. "Are you happy? Where have you been? Do you watch me from above?" She smiled faintly and said, "I have always been with you, Amelia. Every time you laughed, every time you cried, I was there. But life and death are not doors you can simply open and close. The tree, it bent the rules for you tonight." My stomach twisted with fear. "What will happen now?" I asked. She hesitated. Her eyes darted to the roots of the tree that pulsed like veins glowing faintly under the soil. "It will ask for something in return," she said quietly. "It always does." My heart pounded faster. I begged her to stay, but her smile faded into sadness. She whispered, "Promise me you'll be strong when the time comes. Promise me you'll let go when you must." My throat burned as I cried, "No, I can't lose you again." She kissed my forehead gently and whispered, "You already learned how to survive without me, Amelia. Don't forget that strength." Suddenly her image flickered like a candle in the wind. Her face blurred and her voice grew distant. I screamed, "No, no, please." But the scent of lilacs faded, the warmth slipped from my arms, and all that remained was the cold night air. I was on my knees, clutching nothing but the ribbon on the tree. My mother was gone. I sobbed until my chest hurt, but the forest gave me no comfort, only silence. I turned to leave but then felt something strange. The ground beneath my feet trembled again. The roots of the tree spread wider, cracking the soil. A voice, not human but ancient, whispered into my mind. A wish was granted. A price must be paid. My blood turned cold. I shouted, "Take anything. Anything but her." The voice hissed like the rustling of leaves. "The gift has been given. The balance must return." Suddenly a sharp pain cut through my wrist. I looked down and gasped. My ribbon, the one tied with my mother's dress fabric, was sinking deeper into the branch as if the tree was swallowing it. My skin burned as though it was tied to me too. I tried to pull away, but my body felt weak. The days after that night were strange. At first, nothing seemed different. I went home. cried myself to sleep, and told no one what I had done. But soon I began to notice changes. My reflection in the mirror seemed paler every morning. My eyes looked hollow even though I slept. My friends asked if I was sick, but I lied. At night, I dreamed of roots curling around my arms and whispers that never stopped. The tree was still inside me somehow, watching, waiting. One evening, my father found me staring at nothing, my lips moving silently. He shook me and I snapped back, realizing I had been repeating the words. A price must be paid. A price must be paid. Without even knowing it. Fear twisted his face, but what could I tell him? That I had traded myself for one moment with my mother? Weeks passed and I felt weaker. It was as though the tree was draining me slowly. My skin bruised easily, my bones ached, and sometimes I swore I could feel bark forming under my nails. I returned to the forest one night, desperate to beg the tree to stop. The moon was full, casting silver light across its monstrous trunk. I shouted, "You took my mother once. Isn't that enough? Don't take me too." The tree groaned, its branches shivering as ribbons fluttered wildly. Again that voice filled my head. Every gift leaves a shadow. You wished for life to return, so now life must be taken. I fell to my knees, tears streaming. Then take mine. Take mine and leave my father alone. Leave my friends alone. The voice paused. The forest grew so quiet it hurt my ears. And then it whispered, "Brave child. The choice is made." Suddenly, the ground cracked open around the roots. A violent wind whipped through the clearing. I felt myself being pulled, my breath torn from my chest. I screamed, "Mama!" And for the briefest second, I saw her again, her face in the shadows, smiling sadly, whispering, "Thank you, my little Amelia." And then everything went dark. When I opened my eyes, I was standing in the forest still. But everything was different. The world felt muted, faded. My body was gone. I was not flesh but something else, something lighter. I turned toward the wish tree and froze. There, tied to one of its highest branches, was a new ribbon. My ribbon. My price. The truth hit me like thunder. I had become part of the wish tree itself. A whisper joined the countless others woven into its bark. My voice forever trapped among its roots and branches. I was no longer Amelia the daughter, Amelia the dreamer. I was Amelia the shadow of a wish. And here is the strangest part. I could still hear the voices of those who came to the tree. Their whispers, their desperate hopes, their foolish bargains. A young man asking for love. A mother begging for her child's health. A lonely girl crying for friendship. Their words tangled around me, pressing against my soul. I wanted to warn them. I wanted to scream, "Don't do it. Don't wish. The price is too high." But no sound came out. My voice was swallowed by the tree. Now I exist in silence, waiting, listening. The world outside moves on. Seasons change. Ribbons fade and fall. But I remain, another spirit woven into the endless hunger of the wish tree. And sometimes, when the wind blows just right, if you stand close enough to its trunk, you might hear my whisper among the leaves. Be careful what you wish for. And that is how I learned. The wish tree never gives without taking. And sometimes, it takes far more than you ever imagined.